Hello everyone. Our topic is Alzheimer detection using deep convolution GAN. Alzheimer's disease is an irreversible progressive brain disorder that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills and also the ability to carry out our day-to-day tasks. It is the most common cause of dementia and it is mostly found among older adults. In this project, we have used a deep learning approach to detect different stages of the disease using MRI images. Due to the limited amount of MRI data available, we are going to use the GAN network to generate synthetic photos and therefore use them to train a CNN model which will classify different stages of Alzheimer. Our data set has been taken from Kaggle. The dataset is a labeled dataset and it is divided into test and train, whereas the test and train consists of labels which are mildly diminuted, moderate diminuted, non-diminuted, and very mild diminuted. Sagar?
So thank you, Tanushri. Hi everyone. I am Sagar Sharma. So here I will be explaining all the technical things which are related to the project. So as Tanushri mentioned, these four classes we are taking. So actually these are no classes. These are the stages which we are classifying in the output. So like suppose this is the stage initial, which is have normal person having, and this is the uh, stage one, and this is the stage two, and this is the stage three. So here are the some MRI images which you can see. Here it look like this is the normal person brain MRI images, and whereas we compare it to the final stage one, moderate dominated this one. Here you can see the difference in between this.
We basically, for the detection of Alzheimer in the MRIs, we basically see the hippocampus. The hippocampus is embedded deep in the temporal lobe of each cerebral cortex. The things we noticed in the brain were shrinkage of cerebral cortex, shrinkage of hippocampus, severely enlarged ventricles, and neurons stopped functioning. The stages of Alzheimer disease were the stages of Alzheimer disease were very mild dementia, moderate dementia. In very mild dementia, we basically don't see any changes as well as from a non-demented person. In mild demented, we see patches and tangles of protein which start to form in the brain. And in moderate dementia, we see the protein deposit in an enlarged state, which has been done over time, and the plaques and tangles are continuing to develop in the hippocampus.
Okay. Then coming to the models and the code part of the technical, I would like to show the GAN working and the GAN code. So actually, the motive to choose the GAN is basically to generate the more synthetic, more data set, because for classification we will be needing the training the data set. For training we will be needing the large data set in a huge amount. So for that, we know that it's a hospital data, it's a hospital project, so it's a confidential one. So we don't get easily on the Google, and there are many data sets available, but it's unlabeled. So we managed to get the data set from the Kaggle. So there was not sufficient size of the data set, so we use a GAN for generating the synthetic image so that we can use it as an original data set for training. So here are some libraries for implementing the GAN to generate the synthetic images, where we have using the activation function, and we're using the Adam optimizer. So as you may be knowing, the Adam optimizer is what is like with turn weights in your what we say network to approach the point of lowest pass loss. It gives like great performance on the most problems. So we have taken the Adam optimizers, and here are the sequential which we will be needing in the transfer learning. I will tell you further. And this is the upsampling, downsampling. We have used convolution 2D. As you can see here, all the 2D is because the data set is 2D, not 3D. and like simple basic libraries. So guys, here we have taken the general resolution equals to 3, which we wanted to do it 4, but due to the limitations of this compiler, we have taken the 3, and the channel is equals to 1, because as all we know that our data set is black and white in a shape having no red, green, blue color. So we have to take as a 1, but we are using as a 3 because we ultimately convert it to a 3 in a color photos of MRA, because applying deep learning and some models accepts in a like ResNet, and the VGG accepts for the channels of 3. And the preview rows and columns is the grade which we get the output in this shape 4 by 7, so it's equals to 28 images we will get. This is the preview margin, and seed size. Seed size is the input which we are giving to the generator. And here are the epochs we have taken. Like epoch is something like loop. It runs over and runs over for the images until and unless the image gets better and enhanced and it's original to the uh, data set which is original. This is the batch size 32. It's like divided. It's like what's working. It's divide in a 32 batch. Each batch has large amount of images which needs to be trained. So we will be needing the batch size because it's compulsory to divide the images in a batches. And this is the buffer size. And whole here is the training path. And here we have scalizing the images, normalizing you can say. And the basic, not basic, this is the major model working. Here we mentioned the code upsample. These are the layers which we have used in the generated model. As you all can see, I would like to show you some photos of the working and the flow of the discriminator. See, actually in generator here we give random input which is the seed size. As compared to in card code we have mentioned equals to 100. So it's like here you can see yeah, wait, yeah. This is the random input which mentioned in the code. It's equal to 100. Here you can see the 80 and then 100. It's a random. We can choose anything. So actually, this is a protocol for the using the discriminator. We have to give the input in a random way so that it further enhance the image, like it further enhance the noisy input after training. So what happens is like the noise goes to the generator, so generator takes it and it forwards some samples to the discriminator after running several epochs. So what does the discriminators do? Discriminator simply checks from the our original dataset whether it's having the pixel same, whether it's original to the equivalent dataset. If it not, then what does discriminator do? Discriminators back propagate or reverse the input to the generator with the gradient value, and through the gradient value, generator decides to train it more until and unless the discriminator values become 0. So here we can see there are the some parameters which needs to be mentioned by a programmer, whether the process is going in a flow, smooth flow or not. So we decide from the loss also. If the loss is coming low for the generator, then it's good. Basically here we mentioned this. Okay. Now coming to the shape, here are the shape. Okay. And this cross entropy is the for defining the fake and the real ones. This is the optimizer, and the parameter here we change equals to -4 and 0.5. Basically it's on a standard they used to take 0.9, but we have taken 0.5 because we uh, got some equivalent accuracy, fine accuracy in this parameter. And here's the all training function which is working behind this model, where we have defined the fake output, real output, and the loss. Now here are the epochs which we ran several times in a batch size. Here are the loss which I have mentioned. It's coming to under 0.27, like this. It's getting reduced. So basically, it's a training very large. After getting trained, what we can see is Here I defined the output images and all the images and then separating the grid images. Firstly, I would like to show you the, 1 second, give me 1 second. Maybe it's refreshed. That's why it's initializing. Actually, this is the Google Colab. So here we have to link our data set through Google Colab via Drive, in which we have account and the data set. Sorry for interruption. Yeah, now it's done. Now have you seen there's a drive option. Here we have all the outputs. So guys, sorry everyone. So everyone, here we have got the generated fake images. This will take some time to open because it's a large amount of data set we generated through the GAN process of the discriminated intelligence generator. So yeah, so these all are the images. So these are the images which we got after running the several epochs. You can see the difference. This is for the one class, and we did same thing for the all the several class. For the other three classes, we did same thing, and here all the three class, which I have saved it here. Which I have collab all the images of the generated synthetic images and all the real dataset images. So it's been around 1500. So these all are the images which are generated and which are real all together, so that further we can apply the classification model on this to classify our stages. And the next thing which comes after generating the images, after generating the images of several stages for training, these one, this is the second stage, this is the fourth stage, these are all the generated images. So now what we going to do is applying the classification model. So all we know, for classification we use CNN for better approach and better results. So in classification we did use transfer learning. So here I have taken Inception v3 in a CNN. So in Inception v3 there is a widely used image recognition model that has around 78% accuracy and more, 78% accuracy as per the standard data which the Google uh, told. And it has 48 layers and can classify images in 1000 object categories, I mean 1000 classes. So here I have taken some libraries, NumPy, and these are the basic libraries. Confusion matrix. Here I would like to share you these. This is the preview of the data set which we have loaded, and this is whole calculating the confusion matrix. That is the one parameter for observing the accuracy and the precision. And uh, we have taken this is the Inception v3 mean input. ImageNet is basically a real data set which the who created the Inception v3, they have done a classification on ImageNet which has around 1000 object classes, and that it performs 78 accuracy, which is uh, more than efficient. Like it's close enough good, performing this much accuracy. He has a layers, dropout layers, flattened layers, dense layer, and here four, because we are having the output in whether in a one class, two class, three class, or four class. So we have four stages, so it's coming four. And these are the parameters. And non-trivial parameters, here we have taken, we have freezed the some parameters we have freezed, and we have taken some parameters as, because it can affect the accuracy while applying the optimized parameters after applying the CNN. So we have to freeze the parameter so that it can't uh, it can't do the alternates and changes in the already trained parameters, which is initialized in the while we upload the base model. So this is the base model. Here you can see in the initial stages we have got 85% accuracy. So this is the pretty much good through the inception v3. And after applying the optimized parameters, in the optimized parameters we have changed some what we say LR, learning rate, and some factors, like this is the factor. And so here we got around 82 only, not much difference. It was previously also coming 82. But here I will make comparison with CNN, with the CNN normal CNN model, which we applied on this model, and what accuracy we were getting there is around, this is the CNN model. So there's the channel 3, which I told you to change it ultimately. So here we getting around 63 or 64 accuracy. This is the classification matrix, confusion matrix. And these are the loss versus loss values, parameters, graph, plots. Okay. So in spite of inception, we thought of applying the ResNet model also, because it also challenged that it has good accuracy. So we thought of applying the ResNet model in this of a part of CNN. And here the similar process we did of training and all, and applying the same layers. In spite of inception, we use ResNet 50 layers. Here are the some parameters which has greatly 23 lakh something. And here we got the initial accuracy is 57.9 according to the confusion matrix. And here are the some plots versus accuracy, validation, and validation loss by epochs, per epochs. We have taken 1000 epochs index. So here you can see it's predicting the actual non-demented, and the predictive was very mild demented. And here it's mild demented, non-demented. This one is correct, non-demented, non-demented. So around it was having accuracy 82%, which is same as the inception v3. But some of the parameters like loss and the precision value of inception v3 model, I must say it's like very good as we compare from the CNN and the ResNet. And in inception v3 it's like doing pretty good, because here we can see it's a non-demented, non-demented, actual, and the predicted one. Here also mild demented, same. Here also same for very mild demented stages. These are all are the stages which is defining. So this is our working of the model. It's working fine. It's giving 82% accuracy, which I think it's good. And in future we will try to take it close to the 90 and above. For that we will be needing some more data sets, and we are working on it. We have taken some approvals because it's not easy to get. And we thought of using this as a contribution to the society, so that what in the future we will do is like making the API where all the persons can just have to upload the 2D image, which they can get on the lab pathologies where the MRI images options are available, facilities available. So what we'll do, we will take the MRI image, they will upload the MRI image on our server, and our training model will be linked to it. So it basically tells whether the person is having abnormality in the MRE. If yes, then what type of abnormality, whether it's a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, or stage 4. So this will ultimately helps them for getting the cure at the early stage. And secondly, it will helps the doctor to save time for observing their MRE image and start the treatment. And that's all. So Over to you, Tanushri.
Yeah. So as we saw, the project will be a contribution, like after implementing more new things and increasing the accuracy, we'll be implementing it as an API for people to use it, and it will people to use it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope you like, if you having any questions regarding project, you can post the comments and ask the queries, or you can do the mail. Thank you.